Bob Gilligan is with me, president of the Cape Area Chamber of Commerce. In studio this morning, we're talking about the industrial park certification. Well, hello, Rob.
Fawn, how are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for inviting me back to visit and catch up.
Yeah, I'm almost like punch drunk from no sleep last night, so this should be a fun interview.
Right on.
And you're
Good
right
deal.
in here. Woo, woo. So, first of all, a lot of people don't know that this industrial park exists.
Yeah.
It's near Scott City, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so
just off of I-55,
Okay.
on the north edge of Scott City. So if you get off there at the airport road and turn left towards the industrial area that has Havco and Aloha Pools and the John Deere dealership, behind that there's about 380 acres that have been developed as the SEMO Industrial Park.
Okay. So when I hear industrial park, having lived in Los Angeles, my mind goes to Long Beach and welding institutes and, things that are going to pump, out cars and welders and, all those different things. That's where my brain goes. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, well, so industrial parks really is a broad general term for any land that's been developed and designated for industrial business development, and so
which could mean anything.
Yeah, which really is a lot of things. So depending upon what that zoning classification is and what you're targeting there. So the developers of the SEMO Industrial Park. So three things that I'll tell everybody that I find really unique and fascinating. It's great for our region. One, it's a private development. So in most communities that you see, whether it's in Missouri or in other states, a lot of times existing industrial parks are public developments. They use public dollars to acquire land and do all the investment and the build-up in the hopes of attracting business. Mm-hmm. It's part of a broader economic development goal.
Which can be good.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's annexations and there's eminent domain. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, and so you start running into some potential issues where maybe the broader vision doesn't necessarily look at personal rights or what the other concerns are.
But this is private.
But this one was a private development.
Okay.
Private developers that said there's a real opportunity for growth in this region. They had business success here, and they took their resources and reinvested back in this area. And so it's been designed as it's 380 acres, and they've platted it out and developed it with about 33 different lots within that. And so they're really targeting what I would consider more small to mid-size type businesses and industries, kind of a general term, that would come in and build on those spaces to do business. So the first one, of course, is the Amazon Logistics Warehouse that is going to be opening up here in the next few months.
Thank God.
And so we'll create that opportunity here. Obviously, great investment of
packages will get here sooner.
Millions of dollars plus about 70 jobs that will be created in the region. And so targeting and looking for businesses or industries anywhere from like a 5-acre plot, lot to maybe up to 20 or 30 acres. They could certainly combine some for the right project, but that's kind of the goal there. And so really what it does is it's giving us here in Cape and Scott City and the Jackson in the metro region another tool to help recruit new business investment and job creation opportunities in the region.
And with the way President Trump is conducting business, the country as a business, and pulling things back to America, this is a spot. I mean, there's a workforce here that's got to be something they're going to be looking at.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, so as we make a higher priority on the national level to reshore manufacturing opportunities, to reshore and then develop even broader, stronger logistics opportunities, the SEMO Industrial Park's really situation in a perfect position. Obviously, having access to the Mississippi River, right, the most navigable resource in the world. It's right next to I-55, so you're connected to the interstate system. And it's right across the way from the Cape Girardeau Airport, which gives us access to air logistics as well. And the port is connected to both national train lines, so we both have Union Pacific Line and Burlington Northern Santa Fe access through the port, which gives us access to all 4 major transportation methods with this industrial park.
Someone wants to know if there's a field of solar panels going in.
So there's solar development that's going on. There's actually 2 different solar developments going on in our region. This isn't in the SEMO Industrial Park.
Okay.
So you've got a solar development that's going on over in Scott City. in Scott County
yeah.
currently, and then you've
Saw
also
it.
got the other project over near Delta that's working on now that'll be going in there. And so
Yeah.
those, once again, both private developments that have been working on those, negotiating leases with the landholders to build up and create, another energy source there. Not in the same location, but an opportunity there.
And those are private, so they have nothing to do with you. They're not costing you any money. It's a whole different topic. They're going into things that I'm not going to get into, but it's a different show. It's a different show when it comes to solar panels. But environmental safety is obviously something people worry about a lot more than I probably do. I mean, I'm a good steward of the world. I don't litter. I don't, I keep everything nice and clean, and,
Sure.
and I try to drive, what I'm supposed to be doing and to take care of Mother Earth. But there are some things where they go overboard. So what are we talking about with environmental safety when it comes? Are some things not allowed, like things that might pump smoke in the air and stuff like that?
Yeah, so there's certainly regulations in place for what can be done and what outputs can be done by different industries or factories or things there. By becoming a certified industrial site, so being a certified site by the state of Missouri, some of the work, the pre-work that's done is environmental assessments. So the pre-work on environmental work, obviously the zoning logistics, we've got incentives in place. They're doing the development of the lots, so you see the roads, infrastructure, water, sewer, lines like that, electrical and gas service to the area. So it's fully developed and ready for builders. And then ultimately they'll have to come in still and meet all the regulations and guidelines that we have here in the region. Mm-hmm. Obviously, being close to the Mississippi River, watershed is going to be a huge issue, right? Mm-hmm. And so, making sure that there's not any threatening environmental runoff or damage or anything like that related to whatever type of industry or business is being developed will be critical. Air quality is also an issue that people pay attention to, and so what those potential outputs could be depending upon what type of manufacturing facility or industrial facility would be. Each one of those are measured on an individualized basis to look on what their projections are and what mitigating resources can be put in place to reduce those impacts in the region.
I honestly feel like this might be someplace some of the businesses or companies we already have might want to move to.
Yeah, a great spot
because
for
it's
expansion.
not big enough. Yeah. I mean, like I hate to say it, but like we were talking Amazon, UPS and FedEx, they have got to be just crushed with how much business they have going on because the postal service is so slow. So a lot of people are moving to FedEx and UPS, mm-hmm. and our facilities are not that big.
Right.
So I'm thinking, gosh, that would be a perfect opportunity for them too.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny to have FedEx, UPS, and Amazon right next to each other?
Yeah. As we move to a culture where we expect things delivery and quick, then
I want it in a microwave.
That's
I want it
business
fast.
Responding to what our social demands are, which is great.
Yeah, so this might be an opportunity for one of them to get more room.
You bet. Yeah, so great opportunity for business expansion, and really that's really one of the hallmarks of economic development is more jobs are created by growing and creating new businesses mm-hmm. or expanding existing businesses than is by recruiting somebody into a new area to build new and start fresh. And so working with our local businesses, is there an opportunity for an expansion or a spinoff, right? Mm-hmm. Is there something that you're doing here that needs more opportunity that could be in the region? Or maybe somebody in the region that could be here, or the success that can be found in finding a supplier that makes sense to co-locate to somebody that they work a lot with. Mm-hmm. And so if we've got such a great network of real strong businesses, manufacturers, and industries here in Southeast Missouri. If it makes sense for somebody to be near them to enhance their business, logistic cost, impact, collaboration opportunity, we've now got a resource to recruit them here in the region. And like you said, a great workforce that has high productivity, mm-hmm. Really competitive in the market, in the wages, mm-hmm. and a region that is looking for opportunities to grow. And so the investment that the Herb family is making in SEMO Industrial Park and in our region is huge for us. And now our role as the community, the Chamber, Southeast Missouri Regional Economic Development, which will kind of be a lead contact, and even our local partners, Loremont Real Estate, that's kind of that lead contact for the SEMO Industrial Park, will do the work to help show that as a great opportunity here.
So is Amazon the only one committed, or are we looking, how many total lots are there?
So 33 was how they originally designed it, but
okay.
Ultimately those can be combined. adjusted
It's like if a
depending
meat
upon
processing plant came in and needed 3 of those spots, you'd give it to them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that depending upon what that is and what that looks like, they would certainly look at any opportunity, combine lots if they need to, and make that. And so that's the one thing that's nice about it is by doing that pre-work. A lot of times you'll see industrial parks where we just have 200 acres sitting there, and we tell everybody, well, it's 200 acres willing to subdivide.
Right.
Well, now you got to go through the process of, okay, well, where are you going to subdivide? What lots are available? Maybe I want the prime lot. Well, the prime lot's the most expensive lot. We'd prefer you take the the lot in the back corner because that'll be the hardest to develop it.
This is kind of turnkey.
So this one's ready to go.
Yeah.
They come in and they say, hey, I need 20 acres. Great. Here's our 20-acre lots that are designed and set. Here's the ones that are most ready to be online. Here's what probably makes most sense depending upon what you need.
Mm-hmm.
If you need a smaller lot, maybe 5 acres for a small manufacturer, maybe some small logistical hub, that could be the right spot. Or like you said, if we have a large industry that's coming in that says, hey, I really need a lot of space because we're going to do a lot of on-site storage, or our manufacturing process is complicated and we need a lot of supply chain, so we're going to need a lot of space. Can we combine 2 or 3 lots? They have that flexibility, which gives us a really powerful tool in recruiting and growing jobs in the region.
So what's the interest look like?
So I think that there's a lot of conversation. It's just now getting to the point where it's fully, at that reign. The first development, Amazon, of course, coming on, that's really that key. Once you get that first project in there and you see that opportunity, that's really what kind of starts that interest. And to be honest with you, it's really going to depend on where the business environment is, on who's ready to make those investments and expand. In my conversations with our area bankers and financial institutions, there's still a strong, stable business community here in Southeast Missouri. The one thing that's kind of nice about where we're at, we don't see the
ups
peaks
and downs,
of everywhere,
yeah.
but we
It's
also
like
don't
we're
see
in
the
a
lows.
bubble. We stay the same.
It's just a good community of people focused on doing our jobs and going to work every day and producing what we need to produce and being part of the local and regional economy, and it's good for everybody. And so that means that there's always opportunity that people are interested in. And so, to be honest with you, I appreciate you reaching out so that we could talk about this, because the more people that know we have this asset, the more likely they are to share with somebody, hey, have you thought about, maybe doing an expansion project here in the Cape Girardeau area down in Scott City at SEMO Industrial Park? We got great opportunity for you.
Yeah, well, and my interest in it peaked because I knew it was happening, but as I was reading it, it didn't fully make sense to me in words. I needed someone to tell me like I'm a child so that I know, what exactly is going on here. And it sounds to me like a perfect opportunity for not just expansion, but somebody who's had a dream of starting, I don't know, maybe you want to make rocking chairs. I don't know what you want to make. Maybe you want to, create whatever. This is the perfect place to do that.
You bet.
So this is awesome.
Yeah.
And this is going to create so many jobs when it fills up.
Yes. Yeah.
Good paying jobs.
Yes, good paying jobs. That's the opportunity to attract and keep jobs, keep expansion and growth, and we're super excited about what it brings to the region.
I am too now, because this is perfect. This is perfect, and it's not that far to drive. It's the central hub between Sykeston. It's central from Cape, Jackson. I mean, Scott City's kind of like right there in the middle.
Yeah.
So,
and one of the things I'll say about our region that's great, right, is we drive to work, and so. Whether we see opportunity in Scott City or Cape or Jackson or Sykeston or Perryville, the region moves and interacts easily, fluidly. And so we know that the jobs we create here will be good for the broader region. Just like when we see jobs created in these communities, it's good for us here in Cape Girardeau. We win as a region. It's a great opportunity.
It's a mini hub. Rob Gilligan, president of the Cape Girardeau Area Chamber of Commerce. It is the Industrial Park certified in Scott City. Thank you for coming in, sir.
You bet. Thanks, Fawn.